Here is the story of the little match girl. Once upon a time, on a cold, snowy New Year's Eve, a little girl wandered the streets of a bustling town. She was barefoot, her tiny feet red and swollen from the icy ground, and she carried a small bundle of matches in her hands. She wore a tattered apron and an old shawl that barely kept the biting wind at bay. The town was alive with the glow of lanterns and the warmth of homes filled with laughter and celebration. But the little match girl had no home to return to. Her father would scold her if she returned without selling any matches, so she wandered the streets calling out softly, "Matches for sale! Please buy my matches!" But no one noticed her. Everyone was too busy celebrating, and the cold night seemed even lonelier for the little girl. Shivering, she found a quiet corner between two houses to shelter from the wind. She sat down and pulled her knees to her chest, trying to stay warm. But the cold was merciless. She looked at the matches in her hand and thought, "If I light just one, perhaps I can feel a little warmth." Hesitating, she struck a match. It burst into a bright, warm flame, and suddenly she felt as though she were sitting in front of a cozy fireplace. She stretched her hands toward the warmth, but just as quickly as it appeared, the flame went out, and she was left in the cold once more. She lit a second match. This time she saw a magnificent feast laid out before her. A golden roasted goose, steaming and delicious, with a table adorned with fruits, cakes, and treats. The little girl reached out, desperate to taste just one bite, but the flame flickered and died, and the vision vanished. She struck a third match. Before her eyes, a beautiful Christmas tree appeared, its branches adorned with glowing candles and sparkling ornaments. The tree seemed so real, and she reached out to touch it, but once again the flame faded, and the tree disappeared into the darkness. Tears welled in the little girl's eyes, and she struck another match, and this time she saw her beloved grandmother, the only person who had ever been kind to her. Her grandmother's face was warm and gentle, and the little girl cried out, "Grandmother, please take me with you. Don't leave me here alone." Her grandmother smiled lovingly, and the little girl struck the rest of her matches to keep the vision alive. The flames surrounded her in a radiant glow, and her grandmother reached out, lifting her into her arms. Together they rose higher and higher, away from the cold streets and the hardships of the world. The next morning, as the first light of dawn broke, The townspeople found the little girl in the corner where she had been sitting. She was cold and still, with a peaceful smile on her face. In her hands were the burned out matches. Though she had left the world behind, she had found warmth, love, and happiness in the arms of her grandmother, and as the snow fell gently, it seemed as if the heavens were welcoming her home.